This is the new light-up skate counter I made. I got tired of losing track of what letter I was on in a game of skate, so I decided to take matters into my own hands. But if I'm gonna make something, it's gotta be cool. Made out of poplar wood and aluminum, this project is one I'm quite proud of, and that's for one specific reason. It lights up. Building this was quite an undertaking, so I decided to document the experience. So without further ado, let's get into it. I started by cutting some scrap board and gluing a piece of aluminum to it with adhesive spray. This would help the metal from bending while it was on the scroll saw. I used these spare blocks to help the adhesive have a stronger bond. I then laid out stencils I made in Adobe InDesign and adhered them to the metal. This would give me a guide when cutting out the letters. I used a failed attempt at this project as a buffer as to not damage the metal when I put the cinder blocks on top. I also think it might be time for a change of socks. I brought the sign over to the drill press and made some pilot holes. Then it was over to the scroll saw. I got all the letters cut, then drilled holes for the switches. I removed the stencil, and then using a screwdriver, I separated the aluminum from the wood. When doing a project, it's best to waste as little materials as possible. That's why I decided to use this scrap board from the failed project as the second layer. Not a bad amount of work for one day. I decided to clean up and come back tomorrow to do the electrical. To anyone wondering, there's only 7 out of the 8 batteries in the tray. The circuit isn't being completed and thus I can't get electrocuted.
simulation. I'm still dreaming, falling deeper in. This love is an ocean wide that never runs dry.
Time for the first test. It works, and I could not be more excited.
It works.
Next up, I had to cut the slats that divided the letters. My initial plan was to have the slats held in place by the adhesive on the LED strips, but I quickly realized that that was not going to happen. As you can see here, there's light leakage into the other letters, and most of the slats have fallen out of place. So the best course of action would be to take the sign apart and cut notches into where the slats would go, that way they'd stay in place. I got a good system going, but I realized I'd need to spray some more adhesive onto the LEDs, so I rode my table saw out into the driveway as to have a better ventilated area.
How it could go so wrong, but you didn't call for help. But let me tell you about the trees.
While that was drying, I used the time to sand down some of the rougher edges on the metal.
The flowers and the birds and bees and all the lights, yeah, we're all affected.
Next, I cut out the wood and measured for the next layer.
I'm breathing out.
I accidentally snapped some of the wood while cutting it out, so I'm gonna have to make another copy, but for right now, this will do. Whenever you're doing a long project, it's always a good idea to clean up your workspace whenever you get a chance. That way things don't get lost.
Forget about seeing it or hearing it. In the end, you must feel. Forget about all you know. You need to go. It's okay to let go. Just let it go, go, go. Then you're breathing in. You're breathing out.
I made some shallow divots in the wood with my drill press in order to have a place for the wire to pass through.
We're breathing out.
Once all the cuts and wiring were finished and tested, It was time to attach all the boards together. I then sanded another scrap board and cut out strips to use as the casing for the sign. The next day I used for finishing touches, attaching hardware, and forgetting to check my exposure before I hit record.
It was always on fire, our house, our dreams. We were dancing on a wire, reckless it seemed.
Woo!
We found holes in these walls. We like what we saw. Seems so strong until it falls. The final straw.
Then, using some small nails, I attached the casing, and we were finished. I couldn't be more happy with how this turned out, and I can't wait to use it in a game of Skate. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.